Hello and welcome to another video in the Working in 360s series. So if you haven't watched the previous videos in this series, please do so. And what we're going to be looking at in this video is how to actually export our finished edit. So we're going to assume that we've cut our footage, we've already made sure that our composition is equitangular. And again, this is a quick reminder, it's always good practice to right click on your footage if you're in something like Premiere, check properties and make sure that the VR projection is equirectangular, monoscopic and VR captured view is 360p by 180. So we have our two clips here. Again, nothing overly amazing, these were captured quite some time ago, so pre the 2020 blip as it were. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to now export this and ensure that the correct meta information is present, so that when we import this into something like Facebook or YouTube or any other 360 player, that the settings are correctly carried across. So in Premiere Pro this is super simple. You simply go over to File, you go to Export, Export Media, and you want to make sure that your width and your height is correct. So if you remember, when we work on 360 footage, it's a lot wider than it is high in comparison to 16:9. It's actually kind of a lot further than that. And we want to make sure that down here in the bottom we have this option VR video. Video is VR enabled, frame layout monoscopic, and we want to make sure that it's 360 by 180. Now you can change the frame layout, so some VR headsets, especially kind of earlier VR headsets, would have this stereoscopic over and under approach, or side by side depending on the headset or the deployment software. But you'll find that things like YouTube and Facebook and most online tools nowadays will just deal with monoscopic and actually encode it to play correctly. So we want to make sure that we keep everything matching the sequence settings where possible. So by doing that, you'll notice it changed it to MPEG. However, we can keep it as .h.264 as long as we don't export or change the size values or any other information. So just be aware that if we click on match sequence settings, it will change it back to the original footage format, which, if you're depending on what you're playing it on, may not be possible. So for example, YouTube does tend to prefer or find it an easier job to encode H.264 or .h.265 videos, for example. We're going to make sure that our maximum render quality is on. And then we're just going to hit export, and it will now export this file to wherever we've set the export destination to be. Now, if we're importing footage and we don't see those equitangular options in our footage in Premiere, we can always right click, go to Modify and Interpret Footage, and then interpret the footage as a 360 or monoscopic format, and that way it will add in that metadata into the program. There are also third-party tools out there, including one that used to be available by Google themselves, which is actually a tool that you used to be able to drag your equitangular footage into, and it would add the metadata into it. I will post some links down below if they're still available. But the easiest way to export VR or 360 footage is if you've got something like Premiere Pro. If you don't, as long as you've got the format sizes correct, so you've got the kind of rough dimensions, for example, like you can see on screen here under output, you should be able to, for example, YouTube can interpret it as 360 footage, even if the metadata isn't always available. However, it's always a good idea to try and interpret it before uploading it where possible. Like I said, super simple. It literally is a tick box exercise, making sure that you have those options enabled. And then you just simply upload it as you would any other video. So thank you for watching. Remember to subscribe and check out the rest of the Working in 360 series videos over on the Catalyst channel. Goodbye.